What's up, guys? For today's video, I'm going to go over how the orb strategy really works and the way that we can find plays, right? So we know that gaps work, right? But what really is the key behind this is that first 15-minute candle breaking the previous trading day's either high or low. So in this case, I'll use DKNG here as an example. First thing, look at the high from yesterday, which was 1736. I'm just going to throw down a line for visual purposes. 1736, cool. The low 1590, don't really have to worry about that in this case. But the night before, maybe throw down the line of some names that pop up that you really like, or have some interesting flow or setups. So we're just gonna hop over here to the 15-minute and use this first 15-minute candle as our high and low put and call trigger, if it ever loads. All right, perfect. So I already have it in here. We had our high at 1749 and our low will be here at 1693. Cool. And then I had already previously charted some levels off of the 15, off of the hourly chart that were key levels or price targets. In this case, 1770 and 18. Turns out we didn't fully get to that 18 mark. And then on the downside, 1653, 1633. So I do that, the night before. But when it comes to this orb method, it works any day where we break out of either the high from the previous day or the low from the previous day. Similar to as why gaps work, right? But the key is waiting on that first 15-minute. If it breaks the high or the low, that's when it works the best. It can work on any day, but that tends to be the best at avoiding chops. So in this case, 1749, perfect. See here, get a nice bounce right off that 1749. Could have got a little push here on calls, but then the real fun starts on the downside. Once we fail to hold this as support, we get multiple retests, long upper wicks, and then we finally get our die off. First target becomes the bottom of that orb, which was 1693 here, and then the PTs that we had assessed below. VWAP, a lot of people use it, so it is a very key level in terms of looking how price action responds to VWAP. Once we close below VWAP, that just adds conviction. I never really take plays based off of VWAP. It just helps me to add conviction or maybe add in size if I'm very confident in the play. All right, so let's look at another example here. We'll use SQ, flip back to yesterday. Nothing charted here on the chart, fresh chart, but yesterday's high was 125.73. So as you can see, we break above that, cool, in this first 15-minute candle here. First 15-minute candle right here, this 930, high 128.28. 128.30. Let's put that, make this more realistic. 128.28. And then the low will be at 123.59. So, there's multiple ways to play this. We can play failed call triggers, failed put triggers, close above our puts, close above our calls, but there's a wide variety of ways to play it. And it really helps with creating levels and knowing where we want to enter. It works because of momentum. And that's why we need a break over or below yesterday's trading range to engage in momentum. As we see here, look how well respected the high of this orb is, right? We get it, close above, bounce, could have got a 5-minute, a little bit up towards this 130 level, and then we fail. We close below here, fail to retake, close below again, then we retest almost perfectly, 128.20, pretty close here before we get that ultimate knife throughout the day. Targets, VWAP, and then the bottom of that orb range, and then hourly time frames. That's what I use. I use that to look at big ranges and also where the VPA is to help me see where the more significant levels are. Then let's just use, this can work for any ticker, right? So let's just use one that I haven't traded in a while. And it did have break early, and that's UPST. Let's go here to the daily. 1 hour daily. So the high was 91.35. Let's go over here to the 15, see if we break above that on the first candle. If we do, we qualify. So we do. First candle high 95.36. 95.36, low 91.42. Perfect. Flip over here to the 5, and we're ready to execute. So in this case, definitely a weaker name off open. Very long upper wick, bearish engulfing, then we hit there. I usually don't take candles or trades off of the fourth candle. I wait for a retest just because it is a momentum-based trade, right? So whatever momentum is from that second and third candle usually carries over to the fourth, and it can reverse very, very fast. I've noticed a lot of fake outs in that range. In this case, would have faked me out before really coming back, testing here twice. Let's see, what's the close here? 191.4. We closed below there, closed right at it, and then finally closed below. We're below VWAP, adds conviction to my play. And we're all the way below, right? So that's when we go back, use that hourly time frame to look at big levels where we should scale out, where to take profit from. It's a really, really simple strategy, but it works very well. The key is waiting on a close above or below our levels, using the 5-minute because that helps me avoid fake outs. And along with that, I like to use a stop of over our level. So say, I enter here, we close back over 91.42. In this case, close right at it. So I probably would have held here. And then the next closes. Say this were to close back at 91.5. I would stop myself out there. And I don't ever really want to go above 20% on my stop losses. But most of the time when I'm entering, the next candle is going to be right there around that level. So it works out well. And I really like that level-based stop here in terms of the ORB strat. In terms of plays tomorrow, QQQ SPY, they closed down near their low of the day. So most of the time, they're going to test that lower level, 38.04, cool. So tomorrow I'm going to look what that first candle does, that first 15 on most names. Some names, I've looked through up here. And I'm going to see how that 15 responds. If it breaks below our low of the day, perfectly cool. I have a call and a put trigger. Then I'm going to use hourly to find levels in which I can scale out of.